Hello guys, it's me Cloud Nemesis back at it again with a new video. Today we're gonna talk about the upcoming changes for Fury and Arms Warriors in 10.0.5. So I really want to start with Fury Warrior because Fury Warrior has a little bit less of changes, but it can be very impactful for M+ in my opinion. But we're gonna start with the Onslaught damage increase by 40%. Onslaught is the talent tree right over here, and Onslaught just means or just gives us a new brutally attack that just immediately attacks the enemy and now currently deals 20k damage, but in the future it will deal like 28k damage. But they're also increasing the tenderize enrage buff from 1 second to 2 seconds, which will also increase the value of this tree. I don't know why they're trying to give us more flexibility into going into this tree, because I was never really a fan of Onslaught, but maybe for single target builds in raid it can be like a little choice you might take to increase and optimize your single target damage, but we will see in the future. In order to make Onslaught more attractive, they will now give us an extra recklessness proc by skilling Unbridled Ferocity on Onslaught. So if you have Unbridled Ferocity in the future, Onslaught, if you use it, will now also trigger recklessness, which can also be very good for single target in raid. What I am most excited about is actually the fact that they're changing Ravager a little bit in our benefit. Because now Ravager, Storm of Steel, is the damage you use is decreased by 30 and not 40%, so that's above. And also the rage you get or you gain is 20 and not 15 anymore. So now we can have 2 Ravagers with a little more buffed damage. But way more interesting is the fact that Angermanagement now reduces the cooldown by rage spent from Ravager as well as Recklessness. So if you skill Angermanagement now, Recklessness and Ravager can be reduced down to 45 seconds, which will line up perfectly with Odin's Fury. So that means in M+ we can now burst on every pack again. And I love it, because it is just like in Shadowlands, where we weren't the strongest class, but we had always damage in every pack. And I really miss this playstyle, because this is what Fury for me is like. Angermanagement is the perfect Fury talent, because we need low cooldowns and high APM. So I really, really like that one. Another change that hit me out of nowhere was the fact that Singleminded Fury is now getting a 30% buff. Or 25% buff. Because now the damage increase is not 5% anymore, it's 30%. 30% damage increase if you play one-handed weapons. This can actually mean a lot. It's really unsure how this will develop in the future, but 30% increased damage on single-handed weapons can actually turn the tables this time for real. So we might see single-minded Fury Warrior players. Prepare your single-hand weapons, swords, and everything you can only wear on one hand. Let's go. Next, we're talking about the arms buffs, which are actually exploding right now, because a lot of people are fearing that Arms Warrior is going to replace Fury Warrior in raid and in M+. And the reason why is actually very simple. Usually Fury Warrior was ahead of Arms Warrior in the perspective of death CDs. We had a lot of death CDs as Fury Warriors. We had defensive stance, we had Enrage Regeneration, we had Impending Victory, we had Rallying Cry, obviously, and we had Spell Reflect. This made us very, very tanky. And we also had a lot of Leech just by our talents. Okay? So Leech as well. But now, Arms Warrior, with the changing of the talent tree, will now have Death Stance by default. We will have Valor and Victory only with 1 point, which doesn't force us to use 2 points on it, and now reduce the cooldown of swords, die by the swords by 30 seconds, so we have a lower cooldown on the Death CD, and Ignore Pain will be implemented into the talent tree again. So we will have Ignore Pain, Death Stance, Die by the Sword, Spell Reflect, Rallying Cry. So we are now even in Death Cities, okay? So now that the Death Cities are even, The only thing that makes Fuel Warrior stronger than Arms Warrior is the fact that Fuel Warrior is a little more fast-paced, okay? But Arms Warrior, in exchange, has a better set piece, set effects, right? So now, the things that are really mind-blowing is the fact that they're going to give us Sweeping Strike now on baseline. So Arms Warrior doesn't have to skill it anymore, so we can use even more points on just offensive spells or different talents, right? So, Sweeping Strike, now baseline. Slam, damage, and slash, crit chance increased by 10%, and the crit damage increased by 30%. So even Slam is getting buffed. Dreadnought damage is also increased now, and gives us higher overpower damage. The cooldown reset increased by 10% from 25 to 35% from Mortal Strike. Like, you see, there are a lot of buffs incoming for Arms Warrior, which will make them so insanely strong. Another little change incoming, Skull Splitter now doesn't expire Rend, but it expires Deep Wounds now, which is good for single target, I guess, because you can now keep up your Deep Wounds, your Rend with Thunderclap. So, yeah, we will see how that transmissions, but I think it's a good ending, because you usually apply a lot of Deep Wounds anyways, so you can actually profit from Skull Splitter a little bit more. Blizzard is also hitting us with a new talent, Spiteful Serenity. Spiteful Serenity makes Colossus Smash and Avatar's duration double, but their bonus is decreased by 50%. I'm not really sure how that transitions into Raid, but and plus it could be maybe a way to play around, but I'm not really sure about that. We're gonna see how it translates and how Arms Warriors are gonna play with it. But the greatest question right now after reading this talent is Arms Warrior better than Fuel Warrior now? And is Arms Warrior replacing Fuel Warrior now? Even though Fuel Warrior is also getting the changes. I think Arms Warrior could get a cutting edge here against Fuel Warriors. Because, first of all, the Fuel Warrior set is not very good in comparison to the Arms Warrior set. And Arms Warrior's flat damage increases in the last 3 patches were just too strong to deny. And if you imagine you play Arms Warrior in M+, and now you take another meta pick, which is Enhancer, the damage you can build up with Arms will be ridiculous. And I'm very, very sure that the uncapped damage with Arms Warrior, because you can uncapped apply Deep Wounds, and still go for good single target damage at the same time, is just incredibly strong. So I really think Arms Warrior might replace Fuel Warrior in M+. So really prepare your Arms Warriors, boys, because Arms Warrior might be a meta pick soon. And I'm really happy about it. I'm not happy about the fact that Fuel Warrior is getting replaced, but I'm happy about the fact that Arms Warrior might give us a good chance of going onto the meta and getting more invites in M+. Yeah, so I hope you liked the video. I hope you got some good information into the new upcoming patch. And if you liked the video, maybe leave a like. If you got more questions or you got a comment, leave it in the comments. I'm always answering, and I'm really curious what do you think about the upcoming patches, and are you ready to play Arms Warrior? And if you are, we see us in the next patch. Otherwise, maybe Single-Minded Fury. Bye bye.